What a Catch, Part 94, a Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. If you haven't heard the previous 93 parts of this story, you can find a link to it in the description box below. If you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and comment down below in support of more fanfiction. Is that Chloe Bourgeois? Marinette looked up from the menu in front of her to see an older lady, probably in her 50s, sauntering over to their table in a little red dress. The two of them were out having dinner to celebrate knocking everything off their to-do list for the day before getting out and sparring. They only had 48 or so hours until the gala, after all. "Sona!" Chloe exclaimed, standing up to give the woman a hug. "To what do I owe this pleasure?" "Well, I met my designer at the salon and I simply had to take him out for dinner. He's such a delight to be around, and talking to kids your age keeps me young." "I'm sorry we missed each other at the salon. It would have been nice to talk during the service." "Tell you what, do you mind if I join you?" The lady, Sona, gestured to the table. Marinette stole a glance at Chloe to see her give the most polite smile she'd ever seen on the spoiled princess. "Of course," she said. "The hostess sat us at a table for 4, so this works out well." "Wonderful. My companion is right behind me. He was a gentleman and took my coat to the coat room." "Really? May I ask who we'll be dining with this evening?" "Oh, you'll love him. He's from Paris just like you. Nathaniel Kutzberg." Marinette felt her blood freeze. Nathaniel? Like, they just got in a spat, Nathaniel? She saw Chloe twitch and swallow, the smile still painted on her face. Sure enough, Nathaniel walked up to the table, still unaware of their presence. Marinette could see the exact moment he recognized who they were. He'd extended his hand for a handshake as Sona introduced him, only to freeze with a smile that rivaled the politeness of Chloe's. The lady, Sona, didn't seem to pick up on it as she sat down next to Marinette, gesturing him to sit next to Chloe. He gave what could only be described as a polite grimace before sitting down, obviously uncomfortable with the arrangement. He cleared his throat and thanked the hostess for the menu, turning to small talk before any "how are yous" attacked him. "So, Sona," Nathaniel said, "where did you get that dress? It's lovely." "Oh, this?" The lady peeled off her cardigan to reveal the red dress. Marinette gasped when she saw it, her heart rate accelerating. She knew that dress all too well. She made that dress 3 years ago. "I bought it from a Parisian woman off Etsy," she smiled. "Tailor-made! Isn't it lovely?" "It flatters you well." "I'm so impressed by her handiwork. It's a shame the designer doesn't make anything anymore." "May I ask her name?" Chloe asked. "From what I can see, the stitching is flawless. The design is nice too. I would love to check her out if she is from Paris." "Her name was Marinette something, as I recall. I can look it up after we order if you'd like. She ran a store called Bugaboo." Marinette felt her cheeks flush as Chloe slowly turned her head towards her, lips pursed into a thin line. "Oh, really?" she said. It was obvious she wasn't talking to Sona anymore. "Yes," the lady continued, unaware of the irony served at the table. "I do hope you can find her. But first, dinner. Does everyone know what they want already? I've barely had a chance to look at the menu." Marinette sat uncomfortably, her eyes glued to the menu in front of her to avoid the stare down Chloe locked on her. The server couldn't come fast enough, and perhaps if she brought up a new subject, the lady would forget about looking her up. Something, however, told her Chloe wouldn't be able to let it go. That was a problem for future Marinette. She didn't want to be confronted about this just yet. She already had enough going on as it is. "I'll have the blackened salmon," Chloe said, handing the server her menu as soon as she appeared, "and some edamame to start." The server took the table's order and quickly disappeared, leaving Marinette and her company to sit awkwardly by themselves. Marinette no longer knew what went through Chloe's head, and although he wasn't happy to sit next to Chloe, Nathaniel hadn't picked up on the side note of Marinette designing and selling dresses on Etsy a few years back. The server came back to place the appetizer in front of them, leaving once more to indulge themselves in small talk. "I've always liked edamame," Sona said, "but I've never gotten the right balance between salt and pot on my own. I suppose I'm doomed to pay the extra for restaurant quality." Marinette chuckled politely, feeling the room closing in on her. She hadn't had an anxiety attack in a while, but thinking about the Etsy shop from a few years ago always made her head spin. "Excuse me," she said, standing up. "Ladies' room." She stood to go to the bathroom and picked up her purse. She needed to calm down. No one else could tell that she started to panic out of nowhere, and Marinette intended to keep it that way. She heard the clicking of high heels behind her as she entered the bathroom and ignored them, choosing instead to stare into the vanity. Deep breaths will help. She looked up and saw Chloe standing behind her in the mirror. "You followed me in?" "I'm glad there's a culture of girls going to the bathroom together, because you abandoned me out there." "You couldn't sit next to Nathaniel without a babysitter?" Marinette knew the comment dug at Chloe's pride, but the door opened behind them and Sona walked in. "Well, ladies," she said, "I'm glad there's a culture of us women going to the bathroom together because the guy at the table next to us ripped a nasty one, and I simply couldn't sit in it any longer." "Oh," Chloe said, giving her a polite smile. Marinette didn't know how to respond. "But," the lady continued, "I could tell you're avoiding the situation." "I beg your pardon?" "I'm not sure what you're hiding," Sona said, pointing to Marinette, "but you, Chloe, are scared of Nathaniel." She blinked in surprise. "Me? Scared? Of Nathaniel? There's no way." "You can't fool my eyes. There's something between the two of you." "We haven't seen each other in years, and I'm the physical representation of everything he hates." "So he intimidates you now?" "He's fit like a daydream." Marinette's eyes widened in surprise. It was out of character. Marinette's eyes widened in surprise. It was out of character for Chloe to say something like that. Granted, she'd been surprised at how Nathaniel matured as well, but it wasn't enough to make her companion flustered under normal circumstances. "He doesn't hate you," Marinette said. Sona and Chloe glanced over at her input. "What makes you say that?" Sona asked. "I think your relationship is full of misunderstandings, that's all." "Don't be ridiculous, Marinette," Chloe said. "There isn't any relationship between us." She knew better than to pursue the topic and chose instead to smile and wash her hands in the sink, biding her time. It would be an awkward dinner no matter what, so she may as well grin and bear it. Nathaniel would be her escort to the gala, after all. Little did she know that dessert would come with an extra topping of surprise information. Then again, Marinette always had a sweet tooth. Thank you so much for listening. Part 95 is on its way. In the meantime, you can check out these other videos for more fanfiction. I'll catch you next time.